Hi, I ordered one of these off eBay because they were like, I don't know, $70 with shipping. It's one of the Pakistani-made 1938 tanker helmets, the ones that people know from Fury. So I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. And my first impressions are it is very green, very glossy green, and it is leather, but the fiberglass doesn't match up too well. You can see where it's kind of hand painted, but overall not too bad, I guess. The What Price Glory ones are like 140, so it's half the price. But you can see the fiberglass is a really gross green. The ads, they look pretty decent, but in person, less so. But I thought I'd get one just to see if I could do something with it. I didn't have huge expectations, but here's a comparison with the What Price Glory helmets. These were the ones that were used in Fury, supposedly. I don't know. That's what people say. That's what they say. And you can tell the difference immediately. One's a lot higher quality, and it's just a lot nicer for the money. I think it's definitely worth it. But the thing that both of these are lacking are the headphones, the headphone receivers that went in these ear flaps. So like Shia LaBeouf has here in Fury. They don't look right without them. What Price Glory carries the HS18s and the R14s, but I thought I can make some of those. They're like $50. So that's what took most of this video. So I ordered one of these R14 receivers. These were used by air crews, tank crews, everybody, just general radio helmet or radio receiver. So I thought, let's make some. So I got some soap, some water, and some silicone caulk. And I thought, let's see if we can make something. So if you can make a lot of stuff this way. I've done it with a few things in the past with varied results. Sometimes it works out pretty well, sometimes not so much. But the soap just keeps the caulk from sticking together. You make a ball out of it, and then you can put it on whatever. In this case, I took the receivers apart, so I had a front side and a back side. The idea was I could screw on one to the other. So you just make a ball, put it on whatever you want to put it on, and then I put it on a piece of foil to keep it from sticking to my bench. So I did the one side, and then the idea was I could cut up those headphones and put them inside of the receivers, and then I could listen to stuff if I ever decided to wear one of those for some reason. And this, when I started, the reason most of this is fast forwarded is I had like 2 hours of video when I started this, and so that's why I've sped most of it up, because this was a long process. I started this like 4 months ago, and the majority, like 90% of it, is on this project, which was maybe not worth it, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I got them all squished together, and it kind of has an ammonia smell. Put it on there to dry, and then when I went to go put them out or pull them out, one side came out really nicely. The other side I had to cut a little bit with an X-Acto knife. It didn't want to come out. It was a little too sealed in there, which is all right. The mold turned out okay. If you do thinner layers and let it dry between each layer, you get better detail, and I was just impatient, so I didn't do that. And then after I got everything out, I washed them out, and then I just made some epoxy with some water-based black paint as a dye. And there's instructions on the bottle, but it's just, you mix up what you think you need. I ended up making like 4 or 5 sets of these because some worked better than others. I'm only going to show you one because, yeah, it took some time. So I did both sides and then let them dry overnight, 24 hours-ish. And then pulled them out. And you can see they look all right. They're not too terrible, especially for the money, I guess. The receiver that I bought was like $20. So you figure I'm making a couple, maybe 2 or 3 sets that worked. It's not bad. So I just cleaned them up on a belt sander, got rid of the rough kind of cast marks, as it were. And then I thought, let's see if the radio or the headphones I got will even work. These were like $3 from China, so I didn't feel too bad. I ordered a couple of them just in case I messed one up. And that's all it is just that little tiny headphones. I thought about doing something Bluetooth, but I thought the headset's going to have a cord anyway. So I drilled out the holes on the headphone so I could listen to something. And then real quickly, I painted the helmet. I just threw it out in the lawn, taped off the brown parts, and just, sprayed it down. That was the easiest part of the whole project. Although when I took the masking tape off, some of the leather finish came with it, which is okay because it's only on the ear flaps. And so it kind of added to the patina. I'm not going to do too much to make it look aged because I'm afraid of wearing through this paint to that ugly paint underneath. But it kind of works. Both sides did it, and so I just left it, and I think it looks okay. It looks like I'm actually going to use it, which I probably won't. It'll just be a display piece. So after I got all the masking tape off, these little ear flaps just threaded through a hole, and those will hold the receiver. I tried them out beforehand to make sure that they would actually fit in these, and they do. They don't fit tight, but they do fit. That little leather flap I just put through should be a lot thicker leather to hold that receiver, and they're just not. They're pretty soft. My next problem was how to make this fit inside of there. So I tried a bunch of methods. I tried drilling it out, and that kind of worked. I drilled one hole and then a bunch of little holes and then made bigger holes. And it kind of worked, but after a while it doesn't work anymore. So then I thought I'll try melting it with a soldering iron, and nothing really worked that well, especially where I needed to make the hole deep and wide. That's trying to melt it, and that was not very good. And then I tried a chisel, and that actually was the best working thing thus far. So I trimmed what I needed to out of these, and I got them almost big enough, and I thought, if I can just make the headphone a little bit smaller, maybe cut off that plastic on the outside, maybe it would fit in easier, and I'd have to remove less material. So I was trimming these, and the chisel slipped, and I nicked the headphone, and I was going to try it out and realized, no, phones don't have aux cord things anymore, so I decided to scrap the whole headphone thing because I could just listen to something else, like anything Bluetooth. So I just drilled out the holes where the cords go, and then those two screws that were just cast in there kind of bugged me. So I drilled those out and just put in some wood screws. This is where I realized maybe those $50 What Price Glory headphones are pretty cheap when it saves you 3 months. And by the time I bought the wire and the resin and the receiver, I'm in these way over $50. But I'm already here, so I put them in just to see what we could get. You can see these don't fit real well. That flap's a different color, which I was going to fix, but in looking at originals, a lot of them are a different color anyway. So I put both receivers in, and they're going to do the same thing that the What Price Glory ones would have done anyway. So that's definitely the route to go. It's worth the $50. But I'm here, so I'm moving forward with what I got. These little arms are supposed to keep those in. I don't know if they actually work. You see pictures of them that are just flipped up. But I put those under, and then I thought I'll just tape these together. I got some of that black friction tape that looks like it's from the 40s. The original one would have been cloth wrapped. Remember these? I made a video on these when I got these for this video, and that's how long ago this was. That was like 4 or 5 months ago. But I put those under with the cord, and that made them look better. Just the whole setup looks a whole lot better already. these are how these are designed to be. They don't look right without all the stuff on them. And I could have put these on when I was done with everything, but I was just excited, so I put them on, and I thought, this is why we do this, I guess. I don't know. So I got the receivers in, I got my tape, my wire, and originally I got the twisted wire because I was going to weave the headphone wire into it, but at this point, whatever. Still moving forward, so I just taped these up, and I am liking how it looks. It despite the disappointment of realizing I could have just bought something that worked, I'm okay with how these turned out. And then I need the end. I was gonna, have an actual plug for my headphones for the end, but since that didn't work out, I had to figure out something else. So I needed to determine the length. These are a later style of armored headphones, but they have the right plug and the right length, so I just copied the length and kind of guessed from there. It doesn't really matter. They're not going to do anything. So I had this ordered so it would look the part when I had the headphones in, but I'm not doing that. So I just super glued this into there, the wires into the hole, which is kind of ruining the plug. I know. I don't really care. I don't have anything that goes to that bigger one anyway. And I didn't like how the plug looked on the wire. Just kind of was blunt, so I added a little bit more tape just to kind of transition it, make it look a little bit better. This is occasionally I do a project where I get 3/4 of the way through and say, what did I start? Why am I doing this? And this was definitely one of those. This was a pain in the butt. But we got to this point, and I was feeling okay about the way it turned out, realizing that just buying a better quality helmet and actual receivers that look the part is definitely worth the money, especially if you want the look. I didn't really save anything over just buying one that I liked the look of. The What Price Glory ones are a lot nicer, and they're not that much money. So you compare them, even at this point, and it just looks better. The What Price Glory one just looks better, even after all the work I put into this, even without goggles, without the receivers. So last test, I had to see if it would fit in a helmet without a liner, and surprisingly, it fit pretty well. So overall, not bad. Would I recommend it? Probably not, unless you don't really care how it looks, but it turned out okay. I like the look. Let me know what your thoughts. How'd I do? Is it worth it? What are your thoughts? I've got a few other projects in the works that should take a lot less time than this one, but thanks for watching.